Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're all doing very well on this Sunday morning. Well, last week we heard about the last plague where the Israelites put the blood of the lamb on their door frames and the angel of death passed over them. None of them died. No Israelite died because God protected them. And we learned about how Jesus is actually became the Passover lamb for us when he died on the cross. Well, right after the Israelites ate their Passover meals and the angel of death passed through Egypt, Moses led the people out of Egypt so they could finally escape from the Pharaoh. So we are going to pick up the story from there. And as always, we read out of the Bible, God's word, God speaking to us, his story and history. It's the truth. It really, really, really happened. Very long time ago, but it did happen. And we'll always, as always, read out of the New International Reader's Version, which can be found on the YouVersion app. And the first little bit that we'll read is out of Exodus 14, verses 5 to 8. And I just realized now I'm not wearing my glasses, so I better put it on so I can read better. There we go. Okay, so Exodus 14, verses 5 to 8. The king of Egypt was told that the people had escaped. Then Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them. They said, "What have we done? We've let the people of Israel go. We've lost our slaves and all the work they used to do for us." So he had his chariot made ready. He took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots in Egypt. He also took along all the other chariots. Officers were in charge of all of them. The Lord made Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, stubborn. So he chased the Israelites as they were marching out boldly. This is quite scary. What will happen? Well, let's see what happens. As we read on in Exodus 14, verses 15 to 16. Exodus 14, verse 15 to 16. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Why are you crying out to me?" So the Israelites, by now, they can see the Egyptians are chasing after them. So they're getting a little bit scared. So God is saying, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people of Israel to move on. Hold out your walking stick. Reach out your hand over the Red Sea to divide the water. Then the people can go through the sea on dry ground." Will that happen? The sea opening, dividing the water. Well, let's see. Exodus 14, verses 21 to 22. Exodus 14, 21 to 22. Then Moses reached out his hand over the Red Sea. All that night, the Lord pushed the sea back with a strong east wind. He turned the sea into dry land. The waters were divided. The people of Israel went through the sea on dry ground. There was a wall of water on their right side and on their left side. Wow, that's amazing. What's going to happen to the Egyptians now, though, because they're still chasing the Israelites? Well, let's see in Exodus 14, verses 26 to 27. Exodus 14, 26 to 27. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Reach out your hand over the sea. The waters will flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." So Moses reached out his hand over the sea. At sunrise, the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians tried to run away from the sea, but the Lord swept them into it. And that's our story for today. How magnificent that The sea actually divides itself. We have to think carefully about this. It's not Moses who really is saving the people. It is God who saves the people. God instructs Moses to lift up his walking stick, but it is God who actually divides the sea, opens the sea so that his people can go through it. So this is not Moses who is actually saving the people. It is God who saves the people. And sometimes we, as Christians as well, we can go through difficult times, and it's not really our mums or our dads or people around us that can really truly help us to get through those times. It is only God. Only God can save, and only God can really comfort us. Only God can really help us when we feel sad and lonely, perhaps when we're going through a difficult time. It's only God who can really help us. So that's our lesson for today, boys and girls. Let's think about a few questions so we remember this passage. So the first question is, what did the Pharaoh do when he heard that the Israelites had escaped? That's right at the beginning of the story. Then second question, how did the Israelites cross the Red Sea? And then last question, who saved the Israelites? Moses or God? So those are the questions for today. And then you will see there's a lovely picture that you can color in of Moses holding up his walking stick and the sea being divided. And that's it for today, boys and girls. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.